before we kind of talk about Game 7 a little bit,
Yes, sir.
we definitely have to get into the end of the game and Aaron Gordon. So I'll just show one of the tweets that went out. So obviously we want to talk about Aaron Gordon on this show. I had to rewind and kind of just see the play that he injured his hamstring, because the way he started grabbing it and he started limping throughout the rest of the game was a huge concern for me. So I went back and looked at it, and it was when he got the ball kind of stolen from Caruso, kind of deflected it. He kind of just went to go try to go grab the ball, and you can see his left leg just hit the ground and try to strike, and then he just almost that deceleration of the hamstring, and that's the typical movement for a hamstring strain. So we got one of our listeners here says, could it be just a cramp? That is typically not the mechanism of a cramp. Usually a cramp is just if they're just running, all of a sudden they just pull up and they feel something. But the fact that he had his leg a little bit overstretched and he was trying to decelerate to grab the ball, so he's bending over at the same time and putting the hamstring on length and more of a stretch, gives me big concern going into Game 7, especially when it's in 2 days, right? So you're looking at Game 7 on Sunday, and we saw this with Steph Curry, and we've seen this with many players. And if it is a strain like a grade 1, typically that is a 1 to 2 week healing time frame. The hope would be somehow he has avoided a strain, but according to Tim McMahon, he said interim coach David Edelman says concern about Aaron Gordon's hamstring is high, but he didn't know any specifics, and noted it's not a great time to have 2 days between games. So this is definitely concerning, kind of moving forward. Obviously, the reporter, he's been there in the league and he's been doing this for a long time. He's always covering the Mavericks, and he obviously covers the NBA. And more than likely, this is an injury that it's going to be tough to just wrap up and play, right? But I will say, I'll give Aaron Gordon one thing. He's been playing through calf injury. He played through it in the first round, something that's bothered him throughout the whole year. And there was one point in the Clippers series where he was like, I literally can't jump. I feel like I can't jump. And then the game later, he makes the game-winning dunk. Crazy. And you're just like, dude, what is going on? So I'm not going to completely rule out the possibility of him playing. But in my opinion, if it is a hamstring strain, it's going to be highly unlikely that he plays on Sunday because of the severity of the injury. If it's something that had just tightened up on him, then there's a possibility that he plays. It just more of it can be easily aggravated, and this is concerning kind of moving forward, because if they do win a Game 7, going into the conference finals without a healthy Aaron Gordon is not the same Denver Nuggets team, or even if he doesn't play in this Game 7.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a huge concern. I mean, guys, you heard it here first from Game Injury Doc on the Hoops Rehab Show. He reported it right when we saw it, and so obviously there is a major concern now, from the Denver coaching staff, and so I think the Hoops Rehab fan base knows all too well about hamstrings right now, and we talked so much about it with Steph Curry, and I mean, you saw it. He never came back in the series. I mean, who knows what would have happened if it got to 6? But it's not something that can be taken lightly. It's concerning if he does try and play. It's like what type of Aaron Gordon are we going to get? And so that's going to be really, really big these next couple of days. And so, especially with Gordon, right? He's such an explosive player, and his athleticism is really what kind of makes a difference out there on the defensive end, and obviously on offense too, with getting in the lane and offensive rebounds and stuff like that. So yeah, I know that's something you'll be monitoring, and we'll definitely reach out when we hear anything, because man, it's these playoffs. It's just every team is one hammy tweak away from really being in trouble. And I hope it's somehow, some way a cramp, but I mean, the way the head coach is already talking about it being a hamstring, it probably rules that out. James, who mentioned that. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to see, what's happening, because again, they'll need him, and they'll definitely need him next round if they get that far.
Yeah, that's for sure. And man, I wish we could turn off the injury button and just turn it off completely during playoffs, because it's
Yeah,
just not
man, it's
fair
killing us.
that we're not able to see our superstars or see great players that are big to their team not be able to play in the bright lights, and especially at Game 7. It's like, man, there's no way I want to see Aaron Gordon not play in a Game 7. So it's unfortunate. I think there's definitely a high level of concern, especially obviously the coach already said that. I'll monitor it moving forward, and guys, I'll be tweeting it out whenever I kind of hear any information about that. But when I saw the play, it did not look positive. So
Sucks.